Hey everybody, Daryl and Holly with Exquisite Exotics here. Just a quick video today. Trying to put out helpful information people might be able to use. A question that I hear often is, what size rodent do I feed my ball python? And the really good rule is, whatever the diameter of your snake is the diameter of the feeder. But what if you're at the store and you don't have your snake in front of you and you're looking at a thing of feeders and you're like, Or the same thing if you're trying to buy online, right? But if you're online, you're like, ooh, rat pup, rat fuzzy, and what's the diameter of one of those? It's not exactly easy to find necessarily. So, though the rule of thumb is the diameter, we actually use weight, because in most cases, that gets you close enough to where you need to be. We maybe feed a little smaller when they're right in the transition period, just to make sure that we don't give somebody who's, longer than fatter, something that's way too big for them. So, kind of give you our recommendations here. So the first thing I will add, something I'll add as well, is that if you have hatchlings, I assume you already know what size feeders to feed your snakes because you've had them long enough to breed them. So I'm going to start with mouse hoppers and what they go up to. But of course, if you have a very small hatchling, you may need to start with something smaller than a mouse hopper. So for mouse hoppers, we go up to 150 grams. And then from that 150 grams to 250 grams, we do rat fuzzies. And then from 250 grams to 380 grams, we do rat pups. And then from 380 grams to 550 grams, we do weaned. And then from 550 grams up, we do smalls. We have some mediums. I would say our big girl Sabine, who's 2,700 grams-ish. We feed her mediums occasionally, but she isn't even fed mediums all the time.
And she's still big. So.
Yeah. During breeding season, some of the bigger females then we do use the diameter rule. We may feed them mediums just to give them the extra calories and nutrition for the breeding season to produce eggs. But other than that, we really shy away from anything bigger than a small. If you think about what they're eating in the wild, they're eating ASFs, African soft fur rats, and those don't get much bigger than a small rat. So if they can survive on those in the wild, then they probably don't need anything much bigger here, though there is nutrition content differences, and that's a whole nother discussion and probably a debate with some people. But so we don't use mediums often, but we do use them occasionally for really big animals or big breeding females. What else, Holly?
Well, I was waiting till you were finished. I actually did want to touch when you said about we try to tend to stay a little bit small once they've reached that transition. Very good example, right? He's in smalls now, but when one of our males actually went to pups, he was literally went from pups to wean. He was literally at the 381 grams, which Daryl had mentioned we go up to 380 on pups. So he was getting kind of big, and I thought, well, weans should be fine. We'll put him on the weans chart, and even a wean looked too big for him. So, he was right there. So it's probably good that, just before you thaw, if you do frozen thaw, that's what we're talking about that we use is for frozen thawed. Before you do that, just to kind of look it over and be like, okay, yeah, that looks like it'll work, or nope, they're ready to go to the next one. So it's always just a little bit of a slight gray area when they're transitioning. It might not even be that literally 1 gram that we had. It might be maybe even 15 grams, but they don't look the right size for that animal. So yeah, just be mindful of what you're doing. This is just kind of like more of a guideline that we go through, and it works really well. And we weigh them about once a month. We do weigh them once a month around the same time and update our chart as needed.
Yeah. So it's, like Holly said, it's not diameter is still king of rules, but this is a really good rule that we've probably had success with 98% of the time. So it's really, really close. The only other thing I might mention is how often we feed. So for anything below a weaned, we feed 3 times every 2 weeks. So a little more often for the hatchlings and smaller snakes. And then once they hit weaned, we go to once a week for everybody. So it's kind of our feeding schedule. And that's it.
Yep, I think that's about it. Of course, we have our finicky eaters that eat live, and that's always, fun to determine which ones they get on that.
Yeah, because we attempt to convert everybody to frozen thawed, but some of them are picky. All right, everybody.
Yep.
That's all I got for today. Hopefully that's helpful to you. You know, like, subscribe, comment, all that fun YouTube stuff. We'll see y'all later.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.